This is Jefferson Square Park in Louisville, Kentucky.
We want to keep the center of attention and right here in the middle of our city government.
But activist Shamika Parrish-Wright and others have given it a new name, Injustice Square Park.
Police abuse has been a problem in Louisville long before I moved here around 20 years ago.
Every day for weeks, she's come to this spot to demand justice for Breonna Taylor. Taylor, an EMT and aspiring nurse, was killed in her apartment in March, shot at least 8 times by Louisville police. They were executing a no-knock warrant and used a battering ram to knock down her door. They say they were looking for a man who did not live in Taylor's complex. Taylor's boyfriend, who says he feared an intruder, shot at officers as they tried to enter. 4 months after her death, none of the officers involved have been charged.
We want to see that those officers are fired, arrested, and prosecuted, but the very minimum would be to fire every one of those officers that has something to do with Breonna Taylor's death.
Along with the recent killings of Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia and George Floyd in Minnesota, Taylor's death has spurred calls for racial justice and police reform. In Taylor's home state of Kentucky, the movement could reshape one of the most closely watched Senate races in the country as Democrats try to unseat Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell in November.
Well, you know, unlike a lot of my members, I won't name any names, I actually enjoy campaigning.
Now with George Floyd's killing, what's changed is that the political momentum is actually on the side of progressive identity politics. And so if anything, there's probably less reason for the Democrats, right, to shy away from that issue, to shy away from that agenda.
Last month's Democratic primary was a sign of changing times. Former fighter pilot Amy McGrath was always a clear favorite.
Protecting our democracy.
She had the support of outside donors and was backed by Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
And the best way to lift someone up is a job.
But in the weeks leading up to the primaries, one of her challengers, State Representative Charles Booker, gained steam. In contrast to McGrath, Booker centered his campaign on issues of racial justice.
I stand before you as your brother, as your cousin, as your neighbor, as your fellow good troublemaker. My name is Charles Booker.
In the end, McGrath eked out a 3-point win. But for Representative Attica Scott, the only Black woman serving in Kentucky's state legislature, Booker's late surge was a sign that something different was happening in Kentucky politics.
I think that some people may have made the assumption that Kentucky wouldn't vote for a Charles Booker. And he overcame that barrier because he went to the hollers, he went to the hood, he went everywhere. His campaign sent a strong message that you don't really know Kentucky, and none of us really even know Kentucky if we allowed ourselves to believe that a Black person never had a chance.
I had several opponents in this primary. They are passionate. They brought energy. They brought excitement. They brought their voices heard at a super important time. And my message to them is, I hear you, and I'm with you.
McGrath has one of the most well-funded campaigns in the country. She's raised more than $17 million in the second quarter alone. But she will need strong Black support if she's to win in November. And Parrish-Wright says she needs to earn it.
She want to make ground with the people's votes who voted for Booker. They really got to see her show up strong and true. She has to show that she's different from Mitch and not another Mitch. When we talk about ditch Mitch, we don't want anybody else that's like Mitch.
I want change too. And we need leaders that are going to actually try to move us in the right direction and face these long-standing racial injustices that we've seen in this country.
I doubt that we're going to be a primary concern of hers. I doubt that she goes to bed thinking about Breonna Taylor.
Asked about Taylor's case, McGrath stopped short of calling for the officers involved to be charged.
There are tactics and procedures that you use, and when something goes wrong, and clearly something went wrong here, this was a tragedy, should have never happened. You have to find out everything that happened. You have to have an investigation, in my mind, that is independent, that finds out all of the facts. And until that investigation is completed in a transparent way, hopefully in a swift way, you need to reserve your judgment on that, in my mind.
a Democrat in a deeply conservative state, which Trump won by more than 20 points in 2016. McGrath is searching for an elusive middle ground.
It's a challenging place for a candidate like McGrath to be when fundamentally winning a general election in Kentucky means appealing to moderate and conservative white voters who may not be as sympathetic to that agenda or may see it as fundamentally problematic. You have to try to find a message that basically says that the fight against racism is a fight that we all share.
Across the country, protesters are demanding to be heard. In Kentucky, with a Senate seat on the line, Black leaders hope the moment is not lost.
It's vitally important to get McConnell out of office, and I am clear that Black people are not going to allow that to happen on our backs. And if she does not create an agenda that addresses our needs and centers Black people, she will not be victorious come November 3rd.
That's so important, just to sit down and listen to people. Yesterday, I was in Louisville listening to Black leaders talk about the issues that matter. And I've been doing that all along.
And that's the long-term work of what social movements are trying to do. It's not just generating headlines, outrage, or emotion in the moment, right? But it's building toward a political coalition that'll sustain that work.